Good afternoon, APM friends and family. Thank you for joining us for our 2022 Internship Showcase. We're very excited to host you all this afternoon for an hour here, taking some time to learn about the interns that we've had in our program for the past 12 months, celebrating all that they have accomplished and hearing what they have learned this year and the ways that they've grown through their internship opportunity. Today we have 3 interns that we're going to spend some time with. First, Jacob Chacon, he's our executive intern. Second, Ram Pangaluri, he's our data analytics intern. And third, Charisma Spears, our current communications intern. In just a few moments, I'm going to turn the show over to them and really let them be the spotlight for us today. But I do want to spend just a few minutes at the onset talking about our internship program. Some of you may be very familiar with the program if you've had the opportunity to work with an intern or have an intern on your team, either this year or in prior years. Others may not be as familiar with the program, so that's why I want to spend just a few minutes today talking about the program. We've had our internship program here at APM for about 10 years now. And I can say that pretty confidently because I was toward the beginning of the program and I started back in 2010 within the internship program. So it's been around for about 10 years and it's come a long way since we first started it. And I think it's a really tremendous program to grow talent at the very start of these people's careers. And it has shown to be a very valuable program over time, not only providing opportunities for people to gain work experience, but also it's helped us to bring talent into the APM business. We've got more than 10, I think it's actually more than 11 now, people who have come through this program and have landed full-time careers or positions within the APM business. So it's really a great program for a number of reasons. Start out by just telling you a little bit about the values of the program. We're focused on professional development for these individuals, wanting to equip them with hands-on project experience and personal mentorship. There's a lot that they're learning in their educational tracks, whether they're in high school or in a college program, but by doing an internship, they're able to pair that textbook knowledge with real work experience and work projects. So we believe it can be tremendously valuable to them, and hopefully you'll hear directly from them today that has been their experience. Some of the logistics of our program. So our current program has 4 tier levels. Each of the tier levels has a varying level of pay and responsibility. Most of the interns that start in our program start at the tier 1 level, so that's the bottom rung. And then if they choose to remain with APM over time, they increase through those tiers. So it's a 4-year program because that kind of cleanly coincides with a 4-year educational track. So that's by design. Additionally, it is a 12-month term, and that goes from September to September. Again, that's intentional because we want this to coincide with the natural educational track that most of our interns are pursuing. The educational track is not a stern requirement to be part of the program, but it is certainly something that we give preference to and we look for whenever we are evaluating talent for the internship program. And we do look at various types of educational tracks, everything from people working on their high school diploma to their college degree or certification program. Couple of benefits to the company. So I've talked a lot about benefits to the individual, having the mentorship, the professional development, the work experience. But this program also provides tremendous benefit back to the company. Number one, it's very cost efficient to us. It's a very flexible program. It allows us to vary the positions that are needed over time. So there might be one department that needs an intern for a 12-month period, and then the following year they may determine that they don't need that intern position at that time given the workload or the project load, but there may be a different department that is in need of an intern. So it's a very flexible program. It allows us to really flex and give that added resource or resources to departments at the time of need. And then lastly, I think it's a program that, especially for those of us who have worked with the interns directly or have an intern supporting our department, it's really a program that has a lot of pride, because you know that the time you're spending with these individuals is investing in their career growth and helping them build their resume and their portfolio for their future of their career. So I enjoy it. I'm very passionate about it. Hopefully you hear that when I talk about it, or if you know me, you know that I love this program. So I think it's just really phenomenal. This is a quick look at the timeline. So as I stated, it goes from September to September generally. We are getting ready to post our new internship positions for the 2022-2023 year coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And this just gives you a broad look at what that generally consists of in that 12-month period. They come in the fall. Usually they're also starting whatever their semester is for that fall period as well, whether that's, again, high school, college, or certificate program. But they'll start in the fall, get oriented with the business and within their department for the role that they're in. Come spring, they're really well rooted in their role, in who APM is, as well as their department's role in the business. And at that point, they're really starting to work on their core projects for their group. Summertime, we do usually give our interns the opportunity to get some added hours in. So that's great because it's a little bit of extra bang in their pocket. Certainly all of our interns appreciate that over the summertime. But it's also a time that our business can get some extra use and benefit from these resources, especially as summer tends to be a time for our business to catch up on some of our significant projects or initiatives that we're unable to do during the outage season. So we typically give that opportunity over the summer. We're also going through final evaluations at the end of the summer, so we're doing that now. We give our interns feedback on the prior year and also have an opportunity to help them look back and see what they've learned in the last 12 months. And then we really close out the year with this showcase event, giving them an opportunity to shine and see what all they've accomplished and learned. And then if we have similar roles, we might be moving them into the same role for the following year, or potentially a different internship role. Or finally, it might be a full-time position, either with an APM or with another company that fits their interest in their career track. So again, I'll say the new internship positions that we're going to be posting for the 2022-2023 term are going to be coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We do have a couple of departments that are going to be adding interns this year, so I'm very excited to see that. And if you're a manager on this call and you're thinking, wow, my department could perhaps really benefit from one of these resources, please do not hesitate to give me a call, shoot me an email, send me a Teams chat right after this presentation. It's not too late. I'd love to talk with you some more and just have a discussion on whether or not an intern is the right fit for your departmental needs. Hopefully you'll see there's tremendous value in this talent for our business. So, all right. That's enough for me for right now. I'll have a little bit more when we come back, but I want to go ahead and kick it over to our interns and really let them be the showcase today. So we are going to start with Jacob Chacon, and he is our executive intern. Jacob, let me get your video pulled up on the screen here, and then I'll give you the green light that you're good to go. All right, take it away.
All right, thank you, Katie. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I'm Jacob Chacon, the executive intern. Just a little bit about me. I did start in towards the end of 2019, so this has gone on a couple years with the intern program, and just give it a thumbs up, say it's very, very good. I did have a quote here on the bottom. Just a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Jim Watkins. Main takeaway from that is just day to day. My biggest thing from it is just little progress is better than no progress. Just at least get started and try. A little bit of what I've been able to grow with First, my passions, growth and technology. Growth just in terms of everything, just learning a little bit about how things work. Not even specific to technology, that's just one of my primary focuses. But I've always just been curious. I've been the type of person to take apart the toaster when my mom told me to throw it away as a kid. Just take things apart, just to put it back together and see how it works. So I've always been intrigued on just processes and how things work, and I've been able to learn a lot about that here. A couple of my favorite projects, if I had to narrow it down over the last year, would be SOPs, which are standard operating procedures, and I have an image on that on the next slide that we'll get to in a second, and the compliance integrity report. For the SOPs, what I liked about that is being able to work with so many different people and help them kind of narrow down their process and what they need to complete the task. It was a great experience to have that exposure to work with these different people, as well as just be part of kind of creating the standard operating procedure document. So that was just great being able to be a part of the process and learn about it and kind of just see it grow from the ground up. Kind of similar to the compliance integrity report. That one was just involving a bunch of data that we kind of took the raw data, made it look pretty, made it look fancy, and made it valuable. So more than just looking at numbers on a screen, bringing it into visualizations to help people really understand what the numbers mean and what we can do, what actions we can take from those numbers and images. In terms of knowledge, just people and, in terms of knowledge, just people in business, learning a lot more about the business, kind of related to the SOPs, just learning how complex certain things are. A lot more to it than I initially thought. It may seem like one bullet point on a list for some people, and then you look at it and you're like, oh wow, there's really 6, 7 other things that need to be done to get this completed. And in terms of people, just working with so many different people and just experiencing their communication, how people communicate differently, and just everything like that. This is an image of the SOP template that I was talking about here. This is just the blank template, so it's fairly empty. It's kind of just one of those fill in the blanks. But I was able to be a part of the process to kind of help get this out and help a couple people fill that out. So if you do have any improvements for the SOP template, feel free to shoot me an email and we'll get that work done. In terms of collaboration, I felt really empowered by APM. They've always been everyone's been transparent in terms of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we do it, along with guidance. A lot of mentorship, a lot of this is what I think the best way could be, but feel free to check it out on your own. If you have a better way, feel free to share it. Very, very focused on just empowering everybody to kind of figure out their own way. Just because it's been done previously this way doesn't mean that's the best way. And in terms of the specific team, I work very closely with Katie Maldonado and Jake Locklear. And with that, everyone that I've worked with, even with different projects, different departments, divisions, perspective plays a big role in that. One thing that I'm limited to is kind of just my scope, what I'm familiar with, what I know. So if I have a problem, I'll run it by somebody else and say, hey, this is what I have, this is what I'm thinking, what are your thoughts? And they'll give me a completely different perspective with an answer or a solution that was completely different from what I was thinking. And with that, it is also the independence of, this is what I think the best way, this is what you think is the best way, let's figure it out, work on it together and get it done. So there's always that independence that helps you grow. It's not just, here, let me do it for you, you're done. It's very much step-by-step guidance and just being able to grow and learn on your own. And in terms of myself, I'd like to think pretty dedicated, pretty eager, very motivated when it comes to the projects. I like to see it through to the end. So when I do get to see something such as the SOPs or the compliance integrity report or even just culture, things like that, it's just nice to see it kind of from the ground up grow and kind of just turn into the final product, if you will. Some things that I improved on trying to go over this last year here is just collaboration. again, just going back to the exposure and working with so many different people, it really opened my eyes to how different people work and communicate. And it helped me improve my skills on how to communicate with people, whether it's email, phone, Teams meeting. And that's a big one for me. I'm very much a talking with hands person, as you can see. But of course, that doesn't come across when you're talking on the phone or anything like that, or email. So just being able to recognize that and adapt and improve on that helped out quite a bit. Another one is implementation. By that, I mean not just doing one step of something, but doing that one step and then following through and implementing it. A great example of that would be for the data. Instead of just turning the numbers into visuals, turn the numbers into visuals and then implement that. Okay, well, what does that mean? What does it tell you? What can you do better? What actions can you take from it? And I'll list that as a new skill as well, because it is something that I've kind of dabbled, if you will, in turning numbers into images and having graphs and color coding it and making it look appealing. But now I focus a little bit more on, okay, well, what is that really telling you? What can you take away from that? And then another one that I had listed was adaptability, and that was just, it helped me a lot. And I'll go back to the SOPs just because that was one of the biggest ones for me, where you kind of just tossed in and say, hey, help out this group, help out this person with their SOP. And that, again, it's something that I've maybe never heard of the process. I'm not familiar with it. So being able to work with that person one-on-one and just seeing what they do and learning how to adapt to it. And sometimes it changes stuff that I do on my side of things, if you will. So just that added perspective helps a bunch. And then, of course, just desired future skills. Business and technology are my big ones. I'll discuss why here in I believe the next slide. But I learned a lot about the business, and I'd love to learn more just on how things operate, how there's different groups that work together, how they work together, and everything like that. And of course, technology. I am going to school for that, so that's always a big interest for me. And I am going to the University of Houston. Go Cougs. I am a senior there, so almost done. I'm going for, my major is in computer information systems, and I'm going for a minor in business administration. So that's why technology and business kind of go hand in hand with exactly what I'm going for. So this is going very well, and I'm learning a lot actually on both sides. There's been things that I've been able to learn from my classes at UH that I've been able to implement into APM and vice versa. I'll give you a quick example. We did a lean project a while back at APM that I was involved in. Well, sure enough, I had a lean course at University of Houston. It was Six Sigma, but it embodied lean. We went over lean. So there were certain things where I was like, oh, I remember the fishbone diagram. I know why we did that now. And just looking back and being able to connect the two has been great. In terms of kind of goals and certifications, just more industry recognized certifications. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what part of business and technology I really want to focus and hone in on, but just learning more about both would be very beneficial. And again, just going back to dream job, don't know what the role is that I'm looking for. There's a couple things that I have in mind, a couple things that I know that I'm not super interested in, and it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to narrow it down, but it's going to be something to do with technology and or business. Hopefully combining the two would be great, so we'll see. But main steps to get there is just experience, like I mentioned, just working with so many different people and learning what their perspective and how they come across problem solving has been wonderful, and growing my own skill set and just enhancing those specific skills. One that I've been able to work on quite a bit was Excel. Before I'd use Excel for school or for projects at school, but now I'm able to do it more. It's more than just a spreadsheet. I'm using it more as a tool to figure out what the numbers mean, and that's a big one that I've been using quite a bit. And I have had a couple of people reach out to me saying, hey, I heard you're pretty good at Excel, can you help me with this, which is great, and I love that. So just focusing on that and seeing where it'll take me. One of the biggest things that I've pulled from the company and noticed is the employee is the priority. Not even, I mean, of course, in terms of safety, but even just on a day-to-day interactions, it's employee first, going back to even the employee survey. The APM and the leadership's trying to go through the results and figure out how to make things better. If there are any gaps, any issues, figure out what we can do to fix that, what we can do to solve that. A big part of that is the leadership. Like I mentioned before, I mean, it's more of a mentorship too. I'm learning a lot about business and even just personal things, whether it's how to give a presentation. It helps in business, but it's also something that helps everywhere else. Just learning how to work with people, talk to people, communicate better. And then another one is efficiency. Another word for lean, pretty much, but just learning how to go through and find a better process, find a better way. Sit down, think of a plan, think of something, how you're going to attack it, and then go for it. And of course, just there normally is a better way. Sometimes the way we know is comfortable, but there may be someone who knows a faster, more efficient way, and just being open to that. And a couple of things I've been able to contribute and help out with as well in the company has been standard operating procedures, which helps out if there's any need to look back on a process. Hey, how does that work? We have the paper for it. We have the list that if someone's confused, you can show them the paper, and hopefully they'll be able to execute the process with no further questions. So hoping that's going well. Started little by little, so we have done quite a few SOPs by now. And another one is just culture. That's one of the ones that I've been able to see grow from the beginning, which has been great. So I'm on those calls and listening to those, and how there's a committee that really cares about that and is really advocating for that. So that's been some of my impact with APM. And again, just wanted to thank you all for joining us, and hope you all have a good afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob. I'm going to keep you in the hot seat just for another minute here. We did have a question that came in as you were giving your presentation, and I'd like to go ahead and let our entire audience know if you have a question for Jacob or for any of the interns as we go through. I do have the Q&A open. Please feel free to publish those in the questions area, and I will read them and allow the interns to respond. So Jacob, you do have one, so I'm going to go ahead and review that now. All right, this one comes from Jake. He says, Jacob, you've been here 3 years now. What changes have you seen in APM over that time frame? And is there any one change you feel influenced your intern role?
A great question. I would say I have one in mind. I've seen a couple changes. Again, it's limited to what I see, so I don't have too much exposure to everything. But from what I have seen, one of the big ones I would say is the idea of just culture, and just being able to look at things differently. That I did go through a brief training for that, and that gave me different perspective. If you're unfamiliar with the just culture, I'll give a super brief, super base level summary, but it's essentially looking at why, if there was a mistake made or an error made, why was that error made? Was it truly intentional, or was it just a human error? Was it an accident? And that's just something that I won't speak for everybody, but that's something that I didn't always think about. It's always like, oh, so-and-so made a mistake. Why? What's the problem? But in some instances, it may be maybe they didn't have the proper training. They weren't told the proper information. So just looking deeper into situations before just jumping to conclusions. And that's been one that I feel that it's influenced me personally, even outside of work. It's something that I start to think about more, where I'll see something and start asking like, oh, okay, well, why did they do that? Or did they know that was going to happen, or anything like that? So of course, it's something that I have seen in the business as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
All right, I'll leave us another 30 seconds or so, see if some other questions come in, and if not, we'll move to our next intern. You do have a comment from Gail. She says, you have amazing energy, and I would totally agree.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Katie.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob. We are going to move to our next intern, Ram Pengaluri. So Ram, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending. I'm Ram Pengaluri. This is my second year with APM. I'm the data analytics intern for this term. And just a couple of, data science jokes for the data science motto. If at first you don't succeed, call it version 1.1. My internship definitely provided an opportunity for growth in my expertise. My passion is data science, software engineering in general. Specific projects I enjoyed during this term specifically were dashboard validation, legacy decommissioning, and an HR project involving dashboard creation. I believe I'm more knowledgeable this term because I've done more trainings and projects to better understand all the tools we use and how to best use those tools to get the outcomes we want. So probably the most extensive and longest project I've worked on is the dashboard validation project. So my task was to examine 60 plus dashboards for data accuracy and validity. My job was to reverse engineer the dashboards, or if I could not do that, independently use data sets to create tables. Then I would use those testing tables and see if those numbers match the current dashboard production numbers. And this project took about a year, so definitely one of my longest projects, and there is a link to the GE box containing all the documents. And this is how it looks when you click on that link. You'll see the summary of what this document's purpose is, all the links the dashboards are validated, the corresponding validation documentation, and some notes I've made. Here's what it looks like when you click on one of those validation documents. You'll see the first picture is a screenshot of what our actual production looks like. Second screenshot is our testing or my testing table, and then I have a conclusion based on my opinion of whether the data is accurate or not. And after that, I have some notes. Probably the most unique and challenging project I faced this year is the legacy reports project. So I think Kevin Fitzgerald reached out to me about APM decommissioning some legacy systems, but wanting to keep old data in case they needed to pull up information on old employees. So I was given some sample reports from old payroll tools such as Profit Tool. I think the other one was Data General. And I was tasked with seeing if I could combine these reports into a tabular format that was easy for HR to work with in some kind of spreadsheet. So yeah, I like this project because it wasn't straightforward at all. I had to try many approaches. So first I tried importing into Excel, but it was not easily modifiable because the reports are in some weird text form. So I tried converting the file types, that didn't work. So I settled on a solution where I wrote a Python script, and with the script you can combine any number of reports into one report, and that would then export it into a PDF file into your downloads folder. Unfortunately, I didn't have a Python compiler pre-installed on my APM computer, so I used an online Python compiler, JDoodle, and that's the link right there. And eventually I did a demo of the solution with some upper management, got it approved, and proceeded. So here's one of those sample reports. You can see it's not very user-friendly. There's a lot of spaces, tabs, and irregular characters. So I had to find out a way to deal with that. And here's my solution. Here's the code. Basically, for those not technically experienced, this code will open a file called merge.txt as your output file and read line by line from the files you put in the file names array or list. So in this case, file names has DG1999 and PT2000. So it'll take the contents of those two text files, combine them into one file, and from there you can save it as a CSV, which is openable in Excel, or you can save it as a PDF, which makes it searchable and nice to work with. And here's the code in the online Python IDE. Yeah, pretty standard files. You can see files uploaded at the bottom, DG1999 and PT2000. You can also see the CPU time, and it was executed in 0.577 seconds, so pretty fast, so I'm proud of that. And the memory was very small as well. So pretty efficient overall. The HR project was another really fun project. So the HR team reached out to me and they needed help with analyzing employee survey data on attrition and employee opinions on how to improve APM. And it was an interesting challenge because mainly I work with like numerical data like steam, gas numbers and stuff, but here it was not purely numerical. It's based on opinions, right? So narrowing people's like 20 different opinions down into like 4 to 5 categories and trends that you can explain was kind of a challenge. And eventually made a dashboard explanation report for the HR team, and the HR team did use my dashboards for the presentation to upper management. Unfortunately, I tried my best to like get a picture of the dashboard, but I cannot actually show the dashboard data because of the confidentiality of the information and the fact that it is people's opinions. We want them to be open when they are answering and be comfortable when doing so. So that's the end of our project section. My internship definitely helped me collaborate within the team environment. Throughout my internship experience here, I've been blessed with great mentors like Aaron and Danielle now. And they always encourage me to learn and explore and take risks. And they give me some challenging work as well, so I'm grateful for that. As for skills, I developed some new skills and reinforced some older skills. Specifically Python and SQL, I've been using that a lot more lately as I'm getting into some database work. And my desired future skills are Azure and Power BI. These are similar to Tableau and Data IQ, but with a different developer, that being Microsoft. My internship definitely assisted me in defining my future goals. I can take this back to college at A&M as a computer science major, for sure. One of the things I'm proud about is I got a Tableau desktop certification. It's a lifetime certification. You have to pass a 60-minute multiple choice test. So yeah. And obviously, I'll be continuously learning throughout my experience, both at work and in college. As for my dream job, I'm leaning towards data science a little more, but I'm always open to like some kind of full stack development or even some back end engineering. As for the steps to get there, they haven't really changed much. It's just work hard, work smart, and play hard as well. My internship definitely extended a chance to make a difference for myself and for the company as well. For me, this business represents an opportunity for growth, learning, and output to show what I know and what I've learned. And I've enjoyed being a part of the company's mission, teamwork, and problem solving that goes into it to contribute to the company mission of safety. And I feel like I've had an impact. I care about my team and work, and made a difference by asking questions and implementing insights. One of the new things this term was the Work Out Loud Circle, and that's where interns from GE, APM get together and discuss what they're working on, their connections and stuff like that. It's definitely a great networking opportunity that I recommend to the other interns as well. Thank you. That was my presentation. I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for Ram? Ram, you also have a nice comment from Gail. She says, very impressive. And I would agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Give about 30 more seconds. Any questions for Ram? And then we'll move to charisma. All right. Thank you very much, Ram. Great job. Charisma, you're up, ma'am.
Thank you, Katie. Hello, everyone. My name is Charisma Spears, and I am the communications intern. This is my first year here, and I'm excited to tell you about it. For me, my passion is about learning new things and discovering abilities and possibilities I didn't know I had, which was great for the internship that really allowed me to do just that. Some specific projects I enjoyed were the Good Neighbor Project, graphic designing, and the employee spotlights. Actually, on the right is a graphic I created for the Good Neighbor Project. It was for the summer drive that just closed and which I led. I believe I'm more knowledgeable because I gain experience in collaboration, internal and external communication, designing, and as well as adapting to new environments, tasks, and people. Here are some more examples of some projects I've led. On the left is our previous employee spotlight, and on the right is a graphic I created for our summer intern social. My leader empowered me by being attentive and compassionate, in addition to providing me with any necessary tools, any knowledge, and especially any support I needed to succeed. My team supported me by assisting my training and enthusiastically offering their help and guidance. I believe I'm a valuable team member because I'm willing to explore ideas and methods and provide support whenever needed. Some improved skills are email correspondence and exploring different Outlook features, as well as team collaboration and graphic designing. Some new skills I've acquired are social media management, email drafting and distribution, and as well as distribution list allocation and updating. Some future skills I still desire are analytic thinking in terms of metric interpretation and strategizing. I want to improve upon my graphic design and see where that goes, as well as exploring blog drafting and general writing skills. I want to help target my piece to whatever audience I'm talking to. In terms of future goals for education, I will be attending U of H's Honors College this fall. I am aiming for a bachelor's or a master's in business management and business management information systems. I want to get certified in Outlook to round out my Microsoft Office certifications. And through internships and college courses, I plan to continue expanding my learning and my experience. In terms of career goals, my current goal is to find the career that my passions and my personality would be best aligned. And the steps I've laid out to get there are through these wonderful opportunities of internships, through exploring and narrowing my interests in multiple fields, and opening myself up to discovering and experiencing various fields, as well as my college courses. Here's how I have been impacted. To me, the business is a chance to grow as a professional, to develop skills in a friendly environment, and to meet new people. I have enjoyed being part of our company's mission because of how genuine and how committed APM is to the people and the strong emphasis on safety and integrity. I find these core values to be so needed, and I'm so glad that I was able to work a part of a team, a part of a company that has the same values. And here's how I have had an impact. I care about people and highlighting their accomplishments and celebrating their moments of good. And I've been able to do so through publications I administer, like the employee spotlights I talked about before, as well as organizational announcements and monthly recognitions. On the left is an organizational announcement I created and I administer. I made a difference by facilitating opportunities for APM employees to give back to the community, leading projects and administrative duties, and supporting my team. Here are some more examples of some of those projects I mentioned before. On the left is the monthly recognition, and on the right is a celebratory social post that I created to celebrate some milestones we had in boiler services. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Great job. Thank you very much, Charisma. I'll leave it open for a minute or two here in case we have any questions for Charisma. All right. Thank you very much, Charisma. An excellent job. Enjoyed that. All right. So just a couple of slides to close our showcase out today. I mentioned it earlier, and I wanted to mention it again. One of the great things about the internship program is the opportunity to see these individuals develop their career all the way from the beginning. A lot of times we're getting them in high school or fresh out of high school, just starting their college careers. And many of them choose to stay with us for a number of terms, up to even 4 and 5 terms through the internship program, and then land in a full-time career with APM. And you can see here on this slide that I've got on the screen, a number of outstanding and excellent talent that we have in the business right now who have come through the internship program. And it's awesome and kind of humbling to see the people that come through this program and how they grow and how they develop in our company and the value really that they drive back. And it's awesome to know that as a company sponsoring an internship program, we're giving these individuals the opportunities to start their career and to be part of a meaningful company. Each and every one of our interns today talked about the values that APM has and as being one of the reasons why they love working here. The teams, the leaders they get to work with, the culture, the values in the workplace. So it's exciting to be able to partner with these people to provide a workplace wherein they do feel that value and they share the values of the organization. And so couple more people here on the screen, and you can see some of the comments that were shared with us from these individuals on the experience they had through the internship program. So again, I'll just say, if you don't have an intern or your group has never had an intern, I would definitely encourage you to consider if it is something that would be a good match for your team. There's certainly a lot of benefits on both sides of it. And then finally, I just want to say thank you to our interns, first of all, for coming well prepared today and delivering excellent presentations on behalf of their teams, representing not only what they learned throughout their internship this year, but also the teams that they supported. So great job to all of you I enjoyed hearing about it, and I've seen your presentations. I've been seeing them for 2 weeks now, but it's always nice to hear it directly from you and to really take in what it is that you've accomplished and learned in the past 12 months. Secondly, I want to thank all of the managers who are currently leading our interns. I know that having an intern is added time and investment. Hopefully you feel like I do, that it's well worth the time and the investment that it takes. But I know that it is time and investment. And so thank you for your partnership in providing working opportunities for our interns. And I hope that you will continue to do that into the future. So we're a couple minutes early. That's no problem at all. I don't mind ending early when it's when we can do so. I do want to leave it open though for a minute or two. If anyone has either a question for one of our interns that you did not get a chance to ask yet, or if you have a question for me about the internship program more broadly, feel free to put that in the chat area. We will leave that open for a minute or two, and then we will close out. And by the way, Charisma, Gail also gave you a very sweet comment. She said, very creative and graphic, very creative, graphic, and great job. So kudos. And thank you, Gail. We appreciate your compliments here today. It's always more fun when our audience talks back to us. Any final questions? All right. Well, then I will just put out the final reminder. We are going to have our new internship positions posted in about the next 2 weeks. So look for those. I'm very excited to kick the new year off. We've got some new things we're going to be doing with interns this year, including the Working Out Loud circles that Ram referenced in his section. That's a collaboration with GE and their internship program. So it's exciting times. We've got some good stuff going on. And if you don't currently have an intern slated for your department, please don't be bashful. Feel free to call me and talk with me about this, and we can definitely see if it is a good match for your team. So thank you to everybody who joined us to celebrate with us and for hanging with us for the hour. We'll give you a couple minutes back here, and have a safe and a good afternoon.